Hey guys and gals, it's Trevor again. So a few months back, I was scrolling through Reddit when I came across what I believe to be one of the most intelligent conversions I have ever seen. A lictor made from nothing but spare parts and a bit of PVC pipe. I thought this was super cool, so I asked the original builder, Tim W, if I could make a video of me trying to replicate his build. Not only did he say yes, he even gave me some tips on how to build it. So let's try it. The first thing we're gonna need is a little bit of milliput. This is gonna be the body of our lictor. Next up, we're gonna need some scything talons. Now, if you're a Tyranid player, you probably have tons of spare scything talons lying around from various kits. The set that I'm using is an extra pair from the Trigon kit, but you can go ahead and use any pair of scything talons that you think looks best. So we're just gonna press those into either side of the milliput, then we're gonna grab one of these extra tentacle Cthulhu heads from the Gene Stealer kit, and we're gonna put that in between the scything talons. Then I'm gonna get an extra pair of grabby hands from the Gene Stealer kit and press them in on either side underneath the scything talons. Now at this point, I'm sure you're wondering, do we need legs for this lictor? No, we don't. What we need is an elbow joint of a PVC pipe. Now this bit of pipe that I've chosen has an outer diameter of 35 mm. This is slightly smaller than the lictor base size of 40 mm, which will mean it's gonna fit onto the base pretty nicely. And best of all, this bit of pipe cost me exactly $1 at my local hardware store. So we're gonna go ahead and stuff our lictor into the pipe, but I'm feeling like the direction the hands are facing is making our lictor look kind of goofy. So I'm gonna snip away the hand at the wrist, sand down the connection points so they're nice and flat, and then I'm gonna plastic glue the hand back but facing outwards. There we go. Now our lictor looks like it's crawling out of the pipe. I'm also gonna use the clay shaping tools to add a little bit of texture to the parts of the body that are gonna be visible from outside of the pipe. This is gonna be so great. I'm gonna super glue the pipe to the base, and there's still a bit of empty space around the pipe, so I'm gonna grab some milliput and fill that up, and I'm gonna jab it repeatedly with the clay shaping tools to create a muddy, rocky sort of texture. Speaking of texture, the surface of this pipe is looking a bit too smooth for my liking, so I'm gonna grab a bit of sandpaper and rough it up all over. To give it just a bit more character, I'm gonna grab a penknife and add some scratches, as well as carve out some chunks from the pipe. Alright, I think that's looking suitably grimdark, so let's get to painting. I'm gonna use a grey primer to prime the pipe and the base, but I'm gonna use the Citadel Wraithbone primer to prime the lictor. Then I'm gonna use a black paint to paint all the claws, talons, and carapace bits. Then I shall use this pink paint to paint the Cthulhu tentacle mouth bits, and I'm also gonna use it to carefully paint these rips in the skin. To paint the eyes, I will be using the only yellow paint that I own. Careful. Got it in one. And of course I forgot I need to paint the little forehead gland black. I'm gonna use a bit of this dark purple paint and just paint it onto the very edges of the Cthulhu tentacle mouth parts. Then I'm gonna blend it in with the pink using stippling to create a nice organic transition. I'm gonna grab some dark red paint and dry brush it onto all the claws and talons. And don't forget, our lictor needs to get its nails done too. I'm gonna do the same thing with this orange paint, but this time as I dry brush, I'll be trying to catch the edges and raised parts of all the claws and talons to highlight them. Then I'm gonna grab this dark green and do some dry brushing on the carapace parts as well as the forehead gland of our lictor. And to highlight these parts, I will be dry brushing on this light green but trying to catch the raised parts and edges. Then I'm gonna clean up any mistakes I made on the skin using the original Wraithbone color. Then I'm gonna apply some Seraphim Sepia onto all the skin of the lictor. Once that's dry, I'm gonna go back with the Wraithbone and gently stipple it onto the most raised parts of the skin. I'm gonna use this light purple to highlight the dark purple parts of the tentacle bits, and this peachy pink color to highlight the pink parts of the tentacle bits. Now I use the term highlight here very loosely because it's really just some dry brushing. Okay, our lictor's looking good, so let's paint that pipe. I'm gonna mix some cheap black and silver paint to form a darker metal paint to paint all over the pipe. Then I'm gonna be painting the muddy parts brown. Bold choice, right? I know. After that, I'm gonna apply a layer of black wash to both the pipe and the muddy parts. Once that's dry, I'm gonna go back with the cheap silver paint and dry brush it all over the pipe to bring back some of the shine. Then I'm gonna grab some ochre paint and dry brush it onto the muddy parts. To make our pipe look a bit more gross, I'm gonna grab some seraphim sepia and apply some of it to the lower lip of the pipe. To me, this kinda looks like murky, rusty water stains. After that, I'm gonna drip some of this green wash down the sides of the pipe. But in my eternal wisdom, I forgot to press the record button on my camera while I was doing this. Honestly, I'm an idiot sometimes. Back again with one last layer of silver dry brushing, and I think our pipe is looking good to go. So let's super glue our lictor in there. And given that lictors are the super secret spies of the Tyranid army, I'm gonna name this lictor after the greatest spy of all time, Kim Possible. And there you go, a lictor made from spare parts, a bit of milliput, and a PVC pipe. I gotta give mad props to Tim W who came up with this idea, cause this is some 3000 IQ shit. If you wanna check out more of his stuff, I've put a link to his Reddit profile in the description down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please think about subscribing to my channel. And if you really wanna help me out, please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/TrevorGoesMeep. I'm just trying to hit like $100 on Patreon so that I can stop worrying about the money I spend on painting models. So if you want to help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Alright, hope you had fun watching, and I'll see you all next time.